What if I told you the strongest move a man can make is to disappear in silence? No texts, no calls, no long goodbyes, just gone. This isn't weakness. This is power. Because masculine men don't beg. They don't plead. They don't chase what no longer values them. They vanish. No drama, no warnings, just quiet, like a storm that already passed, but left everything changed. And understand this isn't about bitterness. It's about boundaries. It's the mindset of a man who knows exactly who he is and refuses to explain it to someone who already took him for granted. Today, we're diving deep into dark psychology, into Stoic power, into the art of disappearing, because in silence, you don't lose control, you become it. Part 1. Disappearing is power. There's a reason silence feels heavier than words. When a masculine man walks away without a sound, he creates a psychological vacuum. She expects chaos, questions, desperation, but instead, she gets nothing. And that silence, it echoes louder than any scream. Here's the truth. The human brain hates unfinished stories. We crave closure because it makes us feel in control. So when you vanish without a trace, you don't just leave her wondering. You become the question. Every smile you gave, every plan you made. Now a riddle in her mind. That's dark psychology. Now pair that with stoicism. Control what you can. Accept what you can't. Let go, not in weakness, but in wisdom. When you walk away with calm confidence, you don't just show strength, you become unforgettable. And here's the secret. It's not the goodbye that leaves the impact. It's the absence. A masculine man doesn't chase closure. He becomes it. Part 2. When she pushes, pull back. In today's dating world, many women, consciously or unconsciously, test a man's emotional stability. These tests come in subtle, calculated forms: sudden coldness, passive-aggressive silence, or throwing out a challenge just to see how you'll react. This is not a personal attack. It's a modern trap rooted in psychology. She's trying to figure out if you're emotionally reactive or grounded. Here's the key. When she pushes, pull back. Not with anger, not with petty games, with silence. She expects an emotional outburst. She wants to see if you'll lose composure. But when you stay calm, composed, and unbothered, you activate a dark psychological effect. Curiosity, tension, attraction. She begins to wonder, why isn't he chasing me? Did I lose him? Is he different from other guys? And that's when the dynamic flips. The Stoic mindset isn't about being cold. It's about being controlled. Reacting emotionally is weakness. Resisting the urge to engage in drama, that's real power. You don't argue. You don't beg. You simply step back and let her energy come to you. Because in a world full of noise, silence is seductive. Part 3. The law of emotional scarcity. Scarcity breeds value. It's the fundamental law of supply and demand, not just in economics, but in human psychology. The more available you are emotionally, the less value is placed on your presence. Over-availability kills mystery, and mystery is the fuel of obsession. People don't chase what they can easily have. You are the prize. They chase what they're unsure they can keep. The moment you start pedestalizing her, placing her above yourself, you destroy the very polarity that creates attraction. Masculine energy doesn't chase, it attracts. It stands firm, grounded in self-respect, pulling others in with quiet strength. The real power lies in emotional detachment. When you withdraw, when you stop feeding her with constant attention and validation, she feels the absence, not necessarily of you, but of what you provided. That hit of validation, that feeling of being desired. What she misses isn't you. It's the reflection of herself she saw in your admiration. Here's the dark psychology tip. Give them nothing. No reaction. No explanation. Just space and silence. Let them spiral in their own assumptions. The less you reveal, the more power you hold. And when conflict arises, hold your frame. He who angers you controls you. Epictetus. Emotional control isn't weakness, it's power. Walk away calm, unshaken. Let your silence echo louder than any argument ever could. Because in the end, the one who walks away without looking back is always the one remembered. Part 4. Indifference is the final blow. You're not cold. You're not bitter. You're just done. There's a difference between anger and indifference. Anger still shows you care. Indifference? That's silence wrapped in power. It's the final blow they never see coming. When you stop reacting, you take back control. Because true power isn't loud. It's still. It's composed. It's the refusal to let chaos shake your core. It's walking away, not out of weakness, but out of complete disinterest. Indifference is a mirror. It doesn't scream, it reflects. And when they look into it, they see themselves, unmasked. All the games, the manipulation, the disrespect, now met with nothing. No reply, no fight. Just the echo of their own emptiness. This is masculine self-respect at its peak. You stop trying to prove your value, because value isn't something you argue for. It's something you embody, in your presence or in your absence. The fusion of stoicism and dark psychology is lethal. Emotionally detached, strategically silent, spiritually unbothered. You become the man who doesn't chase closure. You are the storm that withdrew, not the one who exploded. And that's what cuts the deepest, not your words, not your anger, but your silence. Final lesson. You're not the man who begs for respect. You're the man who disappears the moment it's denied, without a single word. And that silence, that's your power. Chasing is for boys, impulsive, restless, and needy. But disappearing, that's for men. Men who understand that silence speaks louder than excuses, and distance screams louder than desperation. When you vanish without a word, you're not running. You're rising. You're letting your absence haunt them in ways your presence never could. This isn't about ego. It's about power. Real power. The kind that doesn't flinch when disrespected. The kind that doesn't beg for validation. The kind that never chases what's beneath him. Be that man. The one who knows his worth. The one who doesn't need to be seen to be felt. So don't just walk away, disappear like thunder hiding behind the clouds. No noise, no warnings. Just the memory of your presence echoing long after you're gone. Weak men beg. They chase, they plead, they stay where they're not wanted. But strong men vanish and rebuild. They understand that walking away isn't a sign of weakness. It's a deliberate, strategic decision to protect their peace and power. When you disappear, it's not an act of surrender. It's an emotional detox. You step away from the chaos, the distractions, and the energy-draining situations that hold you back. This absence creates space, not just for you to breathe, but for growth, clarity, and strength. In that silence, you rediscover your focus and purpose. Sometimes your absence teaches them what your presence never could. When you're always around, they forget the value you bring. They take you for granted, and your worth is diluted by proximity. But when you disappear, you force them to reckon with the reality that you're not a permanent fixture in their life. It's the ultimate power move. You let them feel your absence, letting them know that you're not someone who can be overlooked, ignored, or treated as disposable. It's not weakness, it's strategy. And when you return, it's with a renewed sense of self-worth, power, and clarity that no one can question. If you're done explaining yourself to people who never deserved your energy, hit that like button. Subscribe for more unshakable truths, and drop a comment. I disappear with power. Let them wonder. Let them regret. You move in silence,